there is still hope amongst the young people for a better Europe. We, the future generations, are left with one and only option: to bravely accept this fight, just as the revolutionaries of Budapest did in 1956, to wage it in the name of the Almighty God, and to have confidence in its eventual blessing. Dear friends, the hour of alternation is coming. Be the alternatives. Be the new generation of the Budapest revolutionaries. Be the new freedom fighters. Fight for our families, for our future, for our nations, for our Europe.
I think his comment is dangerous because he implies that the current government actually fight against these issues, which is not the case. Because yet the CDU is not only the party who opened the borders in 2015. To this day, they refuse to take real action that would really change something. And they continue to bow also to international laws, to EU regulations. You will also know from your countries and the directives of the EU Commission in Brussels, instead of protecting his own country, our people, and acting according to the will of the German people. And for that reason, I'm really happy to be here with you among people who share the vision of a Europe that stands together and enables our countries to implement the necessary measures to make remigration a reality. And I hope that today will move us one step closer to that shared goal. Thank you.
There are a large number of cases where migrants harass citizens. As a woman, I have also become object of interest from migrants, and I feel threatened walking around some neighborhoods of Sofia, my own city. I'm well aware of the fact that only Vazrajna will not allow migrants to impose their claims on local population, although this is viewed as right-wing extremism, racism, nazism, etc. Our representatives are doing everything possible for Bulgaria to be an independent, united and prosperous country, putting the national interest on a pedestal. In conclusion, I want to say that we must join forces with all of you to restore Europe's prestige. In order for the old continent to continue to exist as we have known it since childhood, the EU policy must change radically. We want to live in a peaceful, safe and flourishing Europe and not be afraid to go out alone in streets of our own country at night. So let's continue what Charlie Kirk has started. Let's have the courage to speak up for what we believe in order to make our ancestors who gave their lives for freedom proud.
Our nations have always shared more than interests. We share a spirit that values faith, loyalty, and freedom above all. Those Christian roots, our beliefs in human dignity, the value of family, and the power of faith are what have carried both our peoples through the darkest times in history. They taught us how to rise after every fall, to rebuild our countries from ruins, and to never lose hope in the face of oppression that we are facing right now, for example. But today, defending freedom looks different. It's not only about fighting for independence, it's about preserving our identity in a fast-changing world. It's about making sure our values are not lost in the noise of globalization. That's why we, the young generation, must embrace the opportunities of a free market, for example, while remembering who we are. Economic freedom gives us the tools to shape our future, but it's up to us to use tools wisely. Let's build our future where made in Poland, made in Hungary, made in Europe stand side by side as a mark of quality, tradition, and pride. Let's buy from each other, let's invest in each other and strengthen bonds that unite our economies just as history has united our nations. It is our turn to carry the legacy forward. We must protect freedom and not only in words, but in everyday actions, in how we live, how we work and how we treat one another. Because freedom is not something we inherit once and for all, it is something we choose every single day.
Kedves európai barátaim! Szeretettel köszöntelek itt a gyönyörű országunkban, Európa közepén, Magyarországon.
Dear European friends, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to our beautiful country, here in the heart of Europe, Hungary.
A civilizációnk óriási bajban van. Mi fiatal, európai nacionalisták ma azért gyűltünk itt össze, hogy ezeket a veszélyeket kimondjuk, és megoldásokat is kínáljunk szeretett kultúránk és a keresztény alapokon nyugvó Európa megmentése érdekében. Európa megmentését és gyarapítását, a nemzetállamok szuverenitását tisztelő, de más európai országok patriótáival összefogni képes közösségek tudják megvalósítani. Egyedül nem fog menni, közös tervekkel és cselekvéssel kell nekilátnunk ennek a csatának. Nyugati irányból sokszor halljuk vissza, hogy a ti kormányotok megoldotta a migrációt, megvédte a gyermekeket a hókörülettől, nálatok biztos minden rendben van. A kormányunk több százezer vendégmunkást, bármi inkább migránsnak nevezzük őket, hívott be Magyarországra az elmúlt években dolgozni. Emlékeztetni szeretnék titeket, ebben talán a német kolléga majd meg is tud erősíteni, hogy Németországban is így kezdődött ez a folyamat a törökökkel a 60-as években. De a kormányunk azt is megígérte, hogy betiltja a Budapest Pride néven csúfolt LMBTQ propaganda felvonulást. Idén ez a betiltás úgy sikerült, hogy soha annyian nem vettek részt korábban ezen a meneten, mint pont idén. Azt is megígérte a kormányunk, hogy az Antifa mozgalmat terrorszervezetté nyilvánítja itthon, miután annak német és Olaszországból érkezett tagjai 2 évvel ezelőtt a nyílt utcán vertek félholtra magyar járókelőket. Ebből sem lett semmi, a mai napig demonstrálhatnak az utcáinkon ezek az agresszív őrültek. Ne dőljetek be tehát ezeknek a hangoknak. Mi nem félünk a politikai korrektségtől. Van tervünk arra, hogy Európa hogyan tudna visszafordulni ebből a mostani lejtmenetből. Ezt az alábbi pontokban tudnám összefoglalni. Zéró migráció, zéró multikulturalizmus, remigrációt azonnal.
Speaking about LGBT, the situation is far more serious than we think. They always trying to infiltrate in the schools with sexuality education for primary school children. In Lithuanian national TV, on children's program, they tell stories about how boys loving boys and intersex individuals. They found 107 genders and says if you feel different, you can always change your genders. Yeah, they are talking in national TV. And guess what does our leftist government say about this? They respond, this is the West values, this is the future.
Immigration has gone absolutely off the rocker. So a lot of Irish people, they just feel not heard, not listened to. And Irish people are still a very prideful people in their country. They still love their homeland. And I find that right now, the only situation that can and will save Ireland is absolutely remigration, mass deportations, you name it, we'll do. It has to be done. I mean, the situation in Ireland is getting tough, but I do feel that we will have the last laugh, we will have the final victory. And I think that there is a lot of similarities between the Hungarian people and their struggle against the occupiers and Ireland and our struggle against the British Empire.
Every nation has the sacred right to decide who lives within its borders and to preserve its cultural identity. For centuries, our ancestors built communities rooted in our traditions. Today, these foundations are under pressure from migration and ideological globalism that demands we abandon our identity in the name of progress. We say very clearly there is no place in Europe for organizations that use terrorist tactics and intimidation. My friends, let us speak proudly of who we are. Let us defend our borders, our culture, and our free will. Because when we defend our homelands, we defend the idea of Europe. For peace, for freedom, and a Europe of sovereign nations.
Különböző országokból érkeztetek, de egy biztosan közös bennünk, hogy szívünkön viseljük saját hazánk, s egyben az öreg kontinens Európa sorsát. Nem kell hosszasan keresgélni, s nyilvánvalóvá válik, hogy egy többfrontos háború zajlik ellenünk. Mára odáig jutottunk a mai eltorzult világban, hogy egy veszélyeztetett fajjá váltunk, fehér, keresztény és konzervatív emberként. Ugyanis háború zajlik az északi civilizáció ellen, háború zajlik Európa ellen, háború zajlik a jobboldali értékek ellen, háború zajlik a múltunk, a jelenünk és a jövőnk ellen is. Rátok, mint a világunk megmentésében részt vállaló bajtársakra, szövetségesekre tekintünk, és köszönjük, hogy megtiszteltetek látogatásatokkal és barátságotokkal. Egyik kedvenc magyar írónk, Vasalbert szavaival zárom gondolataimat, és ezt vigyétek munícióul magatokkal, együtt erő vagyunk, szerteszét gyöngeség.
For the future of Europe and its nation. Europe is in great desperate need of change. The ruling elite of the continent have betrayed the European people and orchestrated a planned replacement of homogeneous Europeans with millions of foreigners who are easy to control, violent toward the native population, and dependent on the continent's wealth. Banks and large corporations have taken over the financial system, while small and national businesses have gone out of operation, further consolidating globalist control over the national sovereignty. Today, in Europe, one is either aligned with the global elitist or considered an enemy of the system. We, the patriotic youth of Europe, declare that the current political and economic system is unsustainable and that is immediate change is essential for the continent's future. Opposition to the globalist system is emerging and gaining momentum by the minute. The youth have gathered enough of the bureaucratic, monolithic state of the EU and are determined to reclaim control over the national level, steering Europe back to its rightful path towards cooperation and free competition among European nations. Our goal rests on three pillars: banning Antifa, defending the European heritage, and promoting remigration. Antifa and its affiliated organizations are not advocates of justice. They serve to maintain the corrupt EU elite. Acting as the fist of the globalist system, they hide behind slogans while engaging in uncontrolled violence, with the establishment silently supporting their actions. Antifa's status as a terrorist group was confirmed in 2023 during the attacks in Budapest, where internationally organized brigades carried out multiple assaults on innocent civilians. We advocate banning Antifa in all nations and officially designating it as a terrorist organization. Defending European heritage is non-negotiable. Europe is built on Christianity and its enduring legacy, which is not confined to museums or tourist sites, but forms the continent's cultural foundation. This heritage must be preserved at all costs to inspire future generations to pursue ambitious goals and uphold the European spirit, grounded in strength, innovation, and enduring curiosity. Remigration is essential for Europe's survival. We support the safe, planned, and government-orchestrated relocation of foreigners back to their countries of origin, or in other words, remigration. The attempt to place millions of culturally diverse people in the same areas has failed, resulting in rising crime rates, fear, and declining native birth rates. We believe this decline can be reserved, and through the will of the people, it will be addressed. Every civilization has the right to exist, but not on the same continent. Europe is for the Europeans. We undertake the task of organizing resistance across the continent and educating young men and women that radical change is necessary and imminent. We commit to strengthening the connections between youth organizations and political parties to create a more efficient and coordinated movement. Our objectives are clear and achievable. Europe can only thrive by returning to its roots. We are the heirs of great nations and of men who shape not only Europe, but the world's history. Europe is only lost if its today's oaths give up, which we have no intention of doing. Every nation, every man and women must contribute to the resisting globalist influence. We fight for the future of Europe. Europe is not yet lost.